Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio.
Yeah, if they're jumping through portals and using these ley lines and have the ability to do that, who's to say they're not able to do some sort of time travel in a way that is not just linear time, but it's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Through past, present, and future altogether.
Well, they are even, not even saying that they're physically going through a portal or something to go back in time. They can mind speak. You can mind speak over any distance. And how do we know that the really well-trained ones can't mind speak forward or backward in time?
Mm-hmm. It's that quantum entanglement, and that's something once you set an atom in motion and it's in sync with another one, it doesn't matter how far away it is. It's going to stay entangled with it. So it's absolutely, science is catching up with some of this stuff. It's fascinating that these beings that we consider archaic beings and a lot of people believe that they're not intelligent, but they have these abilities that challenge our science and have us, up until recent times, we didn't even have any explanation scientifically. So it's fascinating to me. I just kind of chuckle to myself when I start doing some research on this that, 20 years ago, they wouldn't have been able to understand some of these concepts at all. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but even if they did have the science, they weren't willing to look at it because, first of all, Bigfoot doesn't exist. And then secondly, it's got all of these weird powers, and there's no possible way until, there's enough observation by actual field researchers to go, hey, they're doing this, and I keep seeing this, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get somebody like Richard comes along and digs into the science of it and goes, well, here's the mechanism by which they can actually do this stuff that we're observing them doing. This is real science right here. Yeah. Real science right here, kids. And just because people want to go, okay, 20 years ago, if you said Bigfoot eye shine, you would have a bunch of people that would go, okay, I've seen that. That's real. But if you said Bigfoot eye glow, they'd all say, no, ridiculous. Bigfoot can't make their eyes glow. They're not walking around with, 6 D-cell batteries up their butt. Can't have it.
Yeah. And now this just ancient vestige of photophores from deep sea life allows us to explain it. And a physicist, Dr. Tom Rue, has proposed it. So I believe 100% that they're using this, and they're using it through the iris and through the sclera. And so we have scientific explanation. I wanted to share that. I thought that was important. And I think more people that if you're in an area that you feel safe enough to walk around, hike in it during the day, know the terrain, go out at night and don't have any lights on you. And after about 30 minutes, your eyes do adjust to some of the ambient light and you are able to see. So take your time, be with a group, always do this with other people. Don't go out on your own, but look for this kind of peeking around trees. It's just a subtle type of peeking that you might see from a distance. And the more you don't pay, if you're just there hanging out and talking, you'll notice that they start coming in closer, and you can get in situations where they're not very far away at all if they want to interact with you. But it's up to them. It's up to them.
Well, I mean, even if, you're not looking for them, this has come up a couple of times that I know of. It's been reported on my show. One was Mateo at the Modern Explorer was talking about him and his friends would go out in the mountains and just play tag at night in the dark. And one time they were out there doing that, and a couple Bigfoot got involved, and which was quite unnerving. And then another one was one of my guests who was in Australia, and they were playing torch tag, which we would call flashlight tag. And again, sound of something moving, hit it with a flashlight, tag, no, that's not a human. Holy bleep.
Yeah, that, and, you don't know what, once you get out there, you never know what you're going to quite encounter. But,
and another thing that works in favor of what you're talking about is that they feel a lot more comfortable in the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, they know they've got, the older ones at least know they've got the advantage on their side. Some of them, it doesn't seem like they realize that we can't really see in the dark, because even people with like night vision equipment and stuff will still get them peeking around trees at them. And it's like, it's so black a normal human can't see anything. They can't see their hand in front of their face, and you're 50 yards away still trying to peek around a tree.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If you are willing to go out there and walk around in the dark, you are kind of putting yourself out there as vulnerable. They see that. They know you're not, you're not out there in a way to hurt them, and so they can sense that you're being vulnerable. You're putting yourself in their environment, and you're more approachable. You're more approachable than somebody with a light on their head.
Yeah.
They're not going to be coming up to you. So that's one of the reasons why I've gotten so far into this, is because I got into going out in the dark and not having any lights on very early on in my research, and I never went back. If I go out in the woods, I'm going dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for when you are trying to document it, you have to have lights on if you're going to film stuff and do that sort of thing. But just have the patience to be there and stay in the dark, and you're going to have some amazing experiences. You absolutely are.
Right on. Well, even in the absence of being able to do that, like the situation up here where it's, the animal attack capital of North America, including Alaska, is here in Montana. So walking around in the dark, bad idea. You know, unless you're going to be heavily strapped, and then maybe the Bigfoot aren't going to want to get that close to you anyway. But the one thing that we can do is tactical vulnerability. And this is the same thing that Rich is mentioning, just a different aspect of it. And that's where you want to make it seem like you are non-hostile and pretty damn vulnerable. You know, do the opposite of what the military would do. The military takes the high ground, they set up barricades. We take the low ground, the most vulnerable spot where they can peek on us from above at every angle and sneak up right around camp and be right next to it and we still can't see them. That's a perfect camping spot because they're not going to feel vulnerable whatsoever when they try and sneak up on you or keep an eye on you.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're in the woods, you know, talk to them. They know you're there. And so you can talk to them. We've done, one of the things that we do with red squatching is that we do say prayers, you know, and that's something about that you'll see with the movie that came out, Seaton, Spirits and Faith. That was just released in December. That's very much a part of us, and we absolutely are people of faith. We aren't going, when I'm in these woods, I am confident the Holy Spirit is with me. I absolutely believe that. And so I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm, you know, going to go wrestle a bear, but I'm absolutely feel like I am in a safe environment. And if we're not, you know, feeling wanted there, then, you know, we know it's time to leave. But I absolutely, how you project yourself and how you are in the woods is how these beings are going to see you. And if you're acting like you're, you know, Rambo out there, you're not going to impress them at all.
No, you'll probably just tick them off and they'll want you to leave.
You're just going to tick them off, and there's nothing you could do to be as tough as the alpha male. So just get over it. You're not the biggest, baddest thing in the woods. You simply are. An alpha male can twist you into a pretzel in so many ways. And the fact that they aren't doing that is amazing, that they have patience with us, with all the things that people do. And
I don't want to hear the typical Ramboism of, I got a bear at 50 cal, that'll take down anything. Yeah, Bigfoot's got a half a ton boulder that he's going to hit you with. That'll take down anything.
Yeah, and they, you know, we've talked about this before, but they are so fast. And if you shoot it, there's always more than one. So you think the one that you're looking at is the only threat in the woods? Yeah. The one standing behind you is the one that is going to knock your head off, okay? So just get it in your head. When you go into their woods, that's their home. Those are their deer. That's their food there. Be respectful. And that's the big thing. You absolutely should be respectful. If you plan on interacting with them, you need to know respect, because they, you know, just through their ability to do, whether it's infrasound or the zapping that they can do, they could just, you know, take you out in many different ways, and they don't. They absolutely don't. So you have to be the one responsible for your behavior and be accountable that you're going to, you know, be respectful to them, and you'll get that back. Well,
they're not allowed to murder either. They've got prohibitions against that. And unlike us, who don't seem to consider them to be humans, they do consider us to be humans like they are. So they're not supposed to murder us. However, at the point where you shoot one of them or you kill one of them, that rule's off the table.
Yeah.
You're a walking target, and that includes your next of kin, like wife and children, forever.
Yes. And that's, you know, that's a frightening thought to think of that. But again, that's why I was saying how you conduct yourself in the woods, how you're going to be treated. And we've always been trying to be very respectful. We don't bring weapons in that capacity, but we do say a prayer. You know, we do try to be respectful in that way. And you know, there's that sort of interaction has worked for us, and it is different than what a lot of people are doing. So that's something Barry really had been actively doing. And when I first started getting together with him, it really kind of changed my perspective, and I became a more spiritual person through this process. Would never have thought that, going out looking for Bigfoot would get me closer to God. But the reality is, it has. It's made me affirmed me.
Interesting. I had somebody on my show that did not believe in God until after they saw Bigfoot. Well, and then their whole world flipped upside down, and they went, if Bigfoot's real, God's probably real too.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. However you come about it. But if God is real, and we are here in a spiritual life that we're living, and there is an eternal life, and people need to wake up. I mean, it doesn't take much to look around the world today. People, this is hell on earth is happening. Things are happening all around. It's not a good time, but it also is a time that we could be getting closer to our Savior Jesus coming back. So, but it doesn't take. I mean, you just watch the news on any given night. There's a lot of terrible things going on in the world, and a lot of things that are biblical that you can relate them to. So I felt that was an important part of the message that I want to share with people. And I really want them to know that I am, have faith in Jesus as my Savior. And that's absolutely part of who I am today. And it is, ironically, again, through these experiences and growing through this process, it's been a growth period for me. The other thing I wanted to talk about, if we think we've covered enough of the Eyeglow, and I suppose some of the pictures and things that you're going to show are going to help people get a better idea of it. But definitely watch some of the other videos that I've talked about. This Sea Tonga movie that is out. Absolutely watch that. That we talk about that experience, and they do a dramatization of it, more of just what it looked like in the woods there at Camp Hard Knocks. I'm here at Camp Hard Knocks. We're getting ready to set up camp. There's a structure right behind me, so just wanted to kind of get a little video of it while I was getting ready to go pick up Barry. This is the powwow is going on this weekend, so we're looking to have a lot of activity here. Hopefully we're going to play some drum music through the speakers when we're here. But it looks like we got a little welcome sign here at Camp Hard Knocks. So it should be a good time this weekend. We've got a group of guys coming out, and we're hoping to get some activity here. So just getting ready to go pick up Barry, and I stopped up here. There's nobody else here right now, but I saw this nice little welcome sign. So Ahu from the Omaha Res. This is in the land of the Sea Tonga. Got the powwow going on here. Macy. Just driving by to get Barry. and what Sibylla Irwin has documented. So those are all really awesome things. But there was one other thing I wanted to kind of share with you tonight, and that was the Counting Coup experience.
Aha. Yes.
Aha. And we kind of segued to that because we were talking about how they could, run by you, or how they could touch you and mark you. Mm-hmm. Well, when I was up on October 22nd of last year, I was on the Omaha Res, and we were having a mini expedition. We had a guest, Scott Pace was there, who's from Louisiana. And we had him out, and we had another guest from Lincoln here, a friend of mine that came up with us. And we were out near Camp Hard Knocks with Derek Webster, and one of the founders of Sasquatching. And Barry was in the vehicle, and he was kind of resting in between things we were doing at that point. But Terry Pedraza, and I want to acknowledge the passing of Terry, because that was the last time I was able to go out with him on one of our expeditions. And since like 2017 or 18, Terry, who had been with the Bigfoot conference there and with Harriet in Nebraska, he started coming up to do Sasquatching stuff with us. So he came into my research area near Lincoln. And then we invited him up to come up to the res, and he really got to go out a lot and do a lot of the expeditions we had. But Terry was there, but Terry passed away December 26th of this past Christmas. So I just wanted to, in memory of him, wanted to acknowledge him publicly. He was a warm soul. He was always there to help with Sasquatching. He wasn't always able to get out in the woods, but he was there in spirit all the time, and it was great. Well, he was standing next to his vehicle, and I was standing there, and we'd been talking. We had seen some Eyeglow around the woods around us, and we were talking, and all of a sudden, and I'll send you this video. You can play it. So it's about a 2-minute video, but you can play it for the audience. All of a sudden, we hear what sounds like some rustling of leaves, and at that moment, I physically could tell something ran right by me. There was a physical presence that I was just like, we were standing there in the dark, the way I'm talking, and something ran right behind me. And so I had my audio running, so I recorded it. And then we all kind of take a moment, and I'm like, what was that? We all kind of take a moment and process it.
That's how we cook them.
Yeah. Wow.
What was that? Come on, man.
It's a dude with a cigarette.
Jumped out of the tree.
Huh?
Just jumped out of the tree.
Down. Is that you, Terry? Huh? Did you walk through here real fast?
Huh?
Did you walk through
Something.
here?
No. The leaves, did you hear that? Mm-hmm. Sounded like something came through here. Yeah. Did it run right by us?
Did you?
I heard it.
I thought it was him.
Oh, I think something.
They're fast.
That was weird.
That was right behind you.
Yeah, it was right behind me. I was like, what the?
Slap you when he whipped.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like,
You think that was true? Because I thought it was him.
I heard it.
What do you mean think it was true?
Well, I mean,
Fucking heard
it was right here.
I heard something, but
No, it was right behind
It
us.
was it was hustling.
Yeah, it like flew through here.
Janu, 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 Janu.
Oh,
Heard that shit?
yeah.
That was loud. Are you Janu?
Was that I thought it was a gunshot. You think it was?
that was a wood knock.
No.
because they were coming out. So he was
you're right.
notifying. Maybe we should go up there and see what the.
To have them run by at that particular time was just kind of another surreal kind of experience. But as we processed it, Derek told me later that he actually heard it touch my coat. He said he could hear it. He could hear it scrape my coat, that it touched me. And so we were all like, what just happened? We all kind of talk about it. What was that? And we think one just ran through here. That's what happened. One just ran by me. And so it's a neat audio because you can hear it, the leaves moving as it's moving through. But it's just a testament to their speed. And then I talked to you about this later, and you were like, that's counting coup. You got counted coup. And I was like, counting coup? What is that? Well, it turned out that it is kind of a right of the young Sasquatch to become an adult, is to touch a human being when they aren't aware of it. And it's very similar to what Native Americans did when they were fighting. They would touch them with the coup stick, their enemy. And so I felt really like that was an honor that one of them felt compelled to run by and touch me. And so it was really kind of in retrospect, one of those experiences, like, that was just awesome that that happened and that I was able to document it. And so I don't know how many people have had, counted coup, but that's definitely something I could put on my list now that's happened to me, and I documented it. So that was very cool.
I know, it's extremely cool. And actually, I had it, apparently it happened to me. Christy Sci-Fi noticed it in the video as I was walking up toward this big pile of trees laying all on top of each other. There's two little ones underneath there looking in between the trees. And right as I'm turning with the camera, you can see a little one. He's looking up like this, and he's reaching his hand up. So as soon as I turn around, he can reach right through and touch me, the little cheater.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to be out in the woods with them. If, once you overcome a lot of the fear and, the things that typically will come along with people, to have these experiences and to know that they are sentient beings, they're laughing at you, they're having fun. You can interact with them in ways that you're not even aware of completely. But this whole counting coup was another experience, and I thought about, I've been touched.
They got to be really comfortable with you in order to try and do that stuff, because they think there's any chance you're going to stab them or shoot them or something. Maybe not worth trying. We had one when I was up there at Coloma last spring. Me and one other person there, and it was about 2:00 in the morning, and we had a pavilion up. Although it wasn't raining at the time, we weren't sitting under it. We were just over past the edge of it. And I kept hearing or sensing something from the far side of the pavilion. And this is only 10 feet. And I kept turning and looking, and I couldn't see anything. Afterwards, I was talking to Robin, and she said, there was one that kept sneaking up on you guys. And I go, where was he? And she goes, he was over by the pavilion. He was trying to show the adults how tough he was, and he was going to sneak up and count coup on the pavilion, not on one of us. Just touch the pavilion and then escape again. And right as he was about to do it, somebody randomly came pulling in to the ghost town with their lights on and spooked him, and he took off again, apparently. But that was really funny. She told me that because I knew there was something over there. I kept sensing it or hearing it, and every so often I turned and looked, and I couldn't see anything, and I turned back again. That's exactly what it was. One of the little ones trying to be really brave and go up and count coup on the pavilion, because that's only 15 feet away from us.
That's awesome. Yeah, and in fact, if you're around, they're little ones, they absolutely trust you in those situations if you're out there and they have their young ones about. So that's really humbling. It's one thing for the adults to put up with you, but at the point where they let the kids go hang around with you, they really trust you a lot. That was something that came up with Kevin too, when he'd get
acquainted with the Sasquatch in an area, right away they try and make him the babysitter and go let the kids hang out at his house for like 2 or 3 hours while they're running around hunting and stuff, and then come up, collect them back up again, and take them off for the rest of the night to wherever they were going to.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was very common, 3-4 nights a week when he was down there in Arkansas. The little ones, between two and 4 of them. And then one of the teenager ones, I guess, was kind of like their babysitter. And they would just hang out in his backyard. And he could see him, and he was talking to him. And they'd make sounds back to him and stuff. And then after like 2 or 3 hours, the bigger ones would show up, and they'd all leave again. So apparently he was designated babysitter, too. But yeah, it's really wonderful when you get to the point where you've had that much time interacting with any one group of them that they actually trust you that much, because that isn't the end of the research. That's the beginning of it. Now you can actually get close enough to them to see patterns and figure out behaviors and stuff that, let's face it, you have to have observation of some kind in order to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and that that was something that learning where they're at, being in areas where are really their home, and in the night, it's enough going in there and just kind of walking through. But if you camp in one of those areas, you're going to have interactions that you're just not, you got to kind of prepare yourself for something like that. Grabbing you to the tent. It's show and tell at that point for the whole clan. So
exactly, and that's what we've learned. And I tell new guests and stuff too. Just expect the unexpected. They do something different every time. The last time I was up there, I had Keith Crabtree with, and one of them decided to tickle his feet. So you don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah. You just don't. You never know, and that's what makes it really cool, though, too. As long as you've been doing this, it's always exciting because it's the unknown. You always have, I would have never expected to go out and have this counting coup experience, but now that it's happened, it's like, wow, I wonder if that'll happen again. That was awesome. So you just
what's cool
know.
In your case is that you experienced it. You got a recording of the sound. Something went whipping by you. One of your buddies heard it actually touch the cloth on your, jacket and stuff. In my case, I had no idea. So one of my friends saw it on the video and went, "Hey, a little one was like counting coup on you," and I'm like, "What? Oh my God!" There's one literally right behind me, and I'm such a stupid bumbling human. I can't see him. Get him on video though.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So, hey, we should also mention that here in April, we got a big Bigfoot conference coming up over there in Nebraska. It's the annual Nebraska Bigfoot Conference. And in conjunction with that, since I'm coming over to speak again for the second year in a row, I'm also planning on trying to stop over to visit with Barry and the boys at Red Squatching, and, of course, Rich Soule, who also tends to be near that area. And I'm assuming would show up if we were over there, I hope.
Yeah, and I could take you through some of my local woods here also, and we can go on up and visit with Barry and Red Squatching. So we've got some options, absolutely.
Well, I'd love to do it. I haven't had a chance to ever be in that part of the country. You're over in northeast Nebraska, right?
Well, yeah, I'm in Lincoln, which is the state capital, so it's more in southeastern Nebraska.
Southeast, okay.
Barry's up in Macy, Nebraska, which is along the Missouri River, and that's northeastern part of the state.
So anyway, eastern part of the state where I generally don't go.
Yeah, either way, you're going to be in areas you haven't been in, that's for sure.
Yeah, either one of them I haven't been in, because my route was generally north-south between Minnesota and Texas, or Minnesota and Florida, so I wasn't generally going through there. I wasn't really on the travel route for the most part. So yeah, there's parts of the interior of the country I haven't actually seen yet, believe it or not. Yeah, and I always like going to new areas that I haven't been to or anything. And like I said, Viking Ashton's going to be with, and I'm sure he's going to be super psyched. Also, want to mention some of the guest list, if in case you happen to be near Mid-America at the end of April and want to come over to the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference. Robin McCrae and her husband Pat will both be speaking. William Lunsford, the Fouke Monster Hunter, will be there. Stephen Hill, the Salt River Sasquatcher, will also be there speaking. And Keith Crabtree, the Boggy Creek Monster himself, will be there, as well as several other people talking about the Legend of Boggy Creek reissue, which they've redone the video and audio on it and re-released it. And they're going to be doing kind of a, update, re-release party and showing that in the big IMAX theater nearby and all that good stuff. And also Don Monroe and several other people going to be there. Christie Sci-Fi is going to be there, although not speaking. And there might be a special guest from Northeast Ontario, Canada, who's been on my channel a bunch of times, that might actually be hanging around too. Mystery. Ooh, who could that be? There's so many people from Northeast Ontario, Canada that have been on my show. So you guys will have to figure that one out. But I definitely say come on over. It's going to be quite the blast, and going to have a whole pile of really, pretty expert, there's no experts, but expert Bigfoot people there. I'm sure Rich will probably show up too because he doesn't live very far away. We can probably hopefully convince him to show up and come visit. And we're looking at in the following year actually having Rich speaking there, and that mystery guy from Northeast Ontario, Canada speaking there. And I got a couple other people that I'm trying to get on the list here. One of them's from the Southwest. It was also been on my show. You guys can guess which one that one is.
Yeah, you guys have gotten a lot of things going at that conference, so I'm really happy that, with International Hominology and Robin really helping out with that. I think that's turned out to be just an amazing conference for our country to have that. We've got some just phenomenal people. And one of the guys you talked about, Don Monroe, he's somebody who was doing research for, like 50 years and did the horsehair, the braiding of the horsehair. And when Igor came there, those two together, they came up to the res with us and were out with us. It's just an amazing experience to have just some legends like that still out. Don Monroe is like 84 or something like that now. He got bit by like 3 rattlesnakes.
Not all at once, though.
He still bounced back and was out like squatching with us. I mean, just amazing. These stories, you can't make these things up. It's just unbelievable. But
he's another one of those indestructible octogenarians like Igor Bird said. And last year we had Ron Moorhead, the Sierra Sounds, doing his presentation there, and he's always great too.
Yep, I was there for that. That was really good too. Yep. That conference is worth it, and then to go to Harriet's museum there is a must also, to really get to see a lot of evidence and a lot of people.
She's getting new exhibits and stuff put in there too. Actually, she's got the Cripplefoot track cast that Blaine Tyler collected is being sent to the museum. And I'm sending her stills from the Super X video that I took, so you can see what 60-foot X structure looks like with a 6-foot human standing underneath it. That'll be my donation to the museum here. And Rich, you should send her some of those too, because you're the other guy that's got ridiculously ginormous tree structures documented. They're actually over there.
Yeah, I started documenting them and coined the term superstructures for the multiple trees that were put together to make them. So you got to stand back to watch it, to totally see them.
Yeah, we showed that in an earlier show where you had one where it took like 4 pictures to show the whole thing, because there isn't any angle where you could stand at and actually see the whole thing. Yeah,
it takes multiple pictures to show it. So, I've got some, so I'll definitely have those available to give to Harriet too. Definitely have that.
Very impressive stuff. And I should also mention that you're like the tree structure guy, and you've got not one but 2 books on tree structures out. Are those available where people could get them should they perchance wish to have them?
The format that they're in, they are not available right now. So anybody that has those, they're probably collector's items.
Damn, wish I would have got one when I had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff.
Oh,
I would leave him.
Walking back there. Yeah.
This guy still won't
Yeah.
move.
Walk down there, walk in that water.
There's some eyes right there.
Remember how we were doing this? Here the alien eyes appeared?
Look at that.
Oh, see
Oh,
the
there we
bigger
go.
eyes?
Right there, see?
The bigger eyes appeared now.
I know Harriet has a copy there at the museum, but yeah, all those are no longer in print, the format they were using. So I do anticipate putting out a more comprehensive book of all my research. I have my website, the Noxcaca Study. People could come there and really read a lot of the field notes, the expeditions, the theories, the papers that I've written. And I do plan on putting that into a book at some point. So that's in the works in the future. But right now you can go to my website and get a lot of it, and all the World Bigfoot Radio shows that I've done over the years are there. You can get links to the YouTube channel where I have also field experiences that I've had. So it's just kind of a comprehensive repository of my research, and someday I'll put it in a book, a bigger book, and just a picture. But yeah, that's for those who bought those, yeah, they're probably a collector's item now. So.
All right, you guys. So head to eBay.
Don't throw them away.
Head out to eBay and start putting those giant price tags on them.
Awesome.
See, was there anything else I needed to mention? Oh, yeah. For the benefit of those of you who really enjoyed the last Conspiracy Corner, number 10, where we talked about the real Count Dracula. Unfortunately, our guest Danielle had some pretty severe health issues and had to have some work done on her in the hospital. And she has been released and is recovering currently. So at whatever point that you guys hear this one, please send her some prayers to heal and to not have any more recurring health issues. Because as you guys know that saw the show, she's an absolutely sweet, wonderful person, really pretty and really smart. So we want to keep her around as long as we can.
Absolutely. That's prayers to her, and I hope she has a quick recovery.
Me too, because got to have her back on the show too. Today, all these repeat people that come on my show a lot, I have to keep a close eye on them, make sure they don't die so I can get them back on again. The Rich, I don't have to worry about so much. He's got to see Tonka watching him all the time to make sure he's okay. Some of my guests got their Sasquatch security guards. And that's my research area. That's the hilarious thing up there. Now that I can talk to them via Robin, we got the deal, like I don't walk around with guns. We don't have guns in camp. We only have like one in a vehicle, maybe. But okay, we still got to walk around the woods and do research. What are we supposed to do then? Okay, well, there'll be security and keep an eye on us to make sure nothing attacks us while we're walking around the woods. So the same relic hominids we're walking around the woods looking for are providing our security service for us.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's an irony of sorts.
You just can't dream stuff like this up.
No.
And it only requires every time you visit, you just bring them some peanut butter. And they love you, and they'll make sure you're alive so you can bring them more peanut butter the next time.
Yep, that's it.
They're smart. They know where their peanut butter is coming from, and if you get hurt, there's no more peanut butter.
Yeah.
And that's apparently, from their standpoint, that's worth punching out several grizzlies just to ensure that peanut butter supply keeps coming in.
No doubt.
Oh my God, I have so much fun with the research. I just absolutely, it is just such a blast for me to be up there and go camping and hang around with them. And every time you're there, they're going to do some different thing that you don't expect. And what's it going to be this time, So that's one of the fun things, because the unpredictability of it always makes it interesting and exciting. You never know what they're going to do. I mean, within limits.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we pretty much ran through everything. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
I think that was it. I just wanted to cover that, the Eyeglow, and kind of give an update on Muke 7E, and then the Counting Coup was kind of the crown of everything that's happened to me recently. So that was great. Just send out again a prayer to Terry Pedraza and family that with the passing of him, he was a valued member of Res Watching, and just
prayers for Danielle Diva, our guest from last week too. Everybody keep her in your prayers. And while I'm thinking about it, I don't know very many people that have had coup counted on them and are aware of it. Very few.
When people listen to this, it's a rare occurrence, and to catch it on audio was very, very cool. And they knew, they absolutely know what's going on. They know what they're doing. They know that I had my recorder going. So it's just cool all around to have that experience documented.
Yeah, and not get hurt too, because I know a couple other people that may have had coup counted on them that kind of got roughed up in the process. And one of them was Eric, who's been up here camping with me a couple times now, and they were shaking his van at night. And he bailed out the door on the van and tried to run away in the dark. And one of them immediately caught up to him and went, boink, and pushed on his back just enough to overbalance him, so he went on his face, splat. And then it left. And then there was Jerry Klein, who was investigating a abandoned homeless camp at night in the winter. And as he was walking back, he heard this growl, and something pushed on his back and face planted. Same thing. And then it just walked away. So I don't think those are counting coup, but it's kind of similar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, thanks for having me again, Duke. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. And God bless all your viewers. I get in on your chat groups occasionally when you have those. So, look forward to getting in on one for this when we debut this, and to talking to your viewers. And if people have questions, it's always good to be able to do that.
Right on, man. I know they love having you on the show, especially the old timers that have been watching it for a long time. And I just got some of the best viewers out there. These people are just absolutely brilliant. And they got great hearts, too. Whenever somebody needs help, they want to jump in and try and help them. So just very blessed to have such an amazing audience. But again, thanks for being with me. And we will definitely have you back as soon as you've got more updates to give us. Everybody, don't forget that I'm going to be at the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference coming up the end of April, and more than likely, Rich will be wandering around there, and several other luminaries that aren't even speaking, including that one mysterious guy from Northeast Ontario. That guy who never comes down to the lower 48 ever. So with that, everybody, be kind to everybody else. You know all of the usual rules, and make sure that you follow them. And don't hug any Wookiees. So make sure that you're kind to everyone. Safety first, last, and always. Pay it forward. Don't be mean to people if you don't have to be. Don't flip off the mountain giant. Don't poke Dogman with a stick. Don't punt the puck, would you? And for God's sake, whatever you do, do not hug the Wookiee.